Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to day 7 of the 20-day challenge. We are 1/3 way through this awesome um, journey that we're taking together to feminine magnetism. So I just want to say that we are a week in. So that is something to be proud of, to stick to something for a week, committing to the daily exercises, um, reading the book, reflecting on it, and um, seeing how to implement the changes in your own life um, is really something to be proud of, because sometimes you get easily sidetracked by different things, especially if you're trying to do something of self improvement. A lot of times you may say, okay, I'll start off good. And then you kind of get sidetracked by different things and say, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'll come back to it. And then next thing you know, it's like you've missed a few days. So for those who have stick with it for all 7 days so far, I'm proud of you. Congratulations. So let's keep the momentum going. Let's discuss it in the comments. Also, be sure to join my Facebook group, which the link will be in the description. If you are wondering what book I am speaking of, the book will also the link to purchase the book will also be in the description, guys. So I hope you guys are excited as I am to dig into day number 7. Day number 7 is also a topic that I really like a lot because I feel like it is very much misunderstood and kind of it's kind of mistaken for another topic, which I will talk about in a second. So it's completely different than that topic, but it's kind of mistaken for that topic sometimes. So I'm going to debunk the difference as we go through this section today. All right, ladies. Okay, so today we are talking about. Oh, my book closed. Today we are talking about. Okay, so today we are talking about day number 7. We're on day number 7, and today's title is Masculine Respect. So you may be wondering, what is masculine respect? Well, to fully know what it is, read the chapter. But to give a short definition of it, basically it's what it sounds like. It's respecting the masculine energy. It's um, kind of like you have this now I would say pedestal. I would say pedestal, but I would say you respect. It's very much about respecting men, right? So it's about respecting them as their masculine, as the masculine party and the masculine energy that they are. Now, really quickly before I read the quote, because I always like to start off with a quote. Um, Now you may say, well, aren't we supposed to respect people? Period. And yes, that's true. But when you're we both need to be handled differently, because the thing about it is women, we thrive off of admiration, we thrive off of adoration, we thrive off of words of affirmation, things like that. But men, they thrive off of respect. Like, respect to them is love. So that's why respecting the masculine is so important, right? Now, I want to say quickly, and I will go into it in a little bit more detail as I go along, is that masculine respect is completely different than submission, right? A lot of women think that submitting to a man and masculine respect are the same thing, and they are absolutely not, right? So, and I will go into that, and I'll let y'all know the differences a little bit in a second. But let me start off with the quote, like I always like to do. So today's topic, masculine respect, and the quote is: in modern society, there are fewer and fewer opportunities for men to be men, for masculinity to flourish in all its glory. Milo Yiannopoulos. So basically, this quote is talking about the fact that masculinity is something that is looked down upon now. It's weird. It's weird because it's something that's kind of celebrated in women, but it's uh, downplay, not downplayed, but it's kind of like not appreciated when it's coming from men. You know what I'm saying? If that's because of like feminist ideals, it seems like that more and more women are embracing their more masculine and taking on more of their masculine energy, but are getting very, very much offended with men being in their masculine energy, right? Um, and so it's that thing where it's like men are starting to feel like, what is my place in society? Since it seems like it's wrong for me as a man to be a man, but it's celebrated when women take on more masculine um, agendas and roles, right? So like, um, like when women are um, becoming certain having certain leadership positions or they're getting raises at work and all these things are great. It's great that women are advancing in their careers and lives and things like that, but it's kind of like that's celebrated. But when men are advancing in today's society, when men are doing their thing, they kind of feel like there are women there who are like, oh, men are oppressing us, they're oppressing us. And it's like it's a lot of that. It's kind of like a lot of like gender bashing and gender envy going on. And so this quote is just saying that there's no such thing as masculine respect anymore. There's no such thing as respecting the masculine energy that comes from a man. It's like they're being made to feel bad for being men, right? So, and a lot of men are, they're not getting, they are getting the butt end of this. They are feeling like I said earlier, like, what is my place anymore? So in a relationship, especially, like, respect to a man is love. Is love. That's how you show a man that you love him. That's how you show a man you admire him, you appreciate him, is respect. Like I stated earlier, with women, we want to be admired, we want to be adored, we want to be, told what, like, words of affirmation, like you're beautiful, you're pretty, like I love you, um, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, we like words, right? We like to hear words, we like to hear flowery words and things like that. But men, they know a woman is into him by how she respects his masculinity, how she respects him as the masculine party in the relationship, right? And this is also true about the men you're dating, and even when you get in more exclusive relationships. But this is also just true with men in general, right? So masculine respect is all about coming to the realization that men see things differently than us. And on my blog, I talk about how men are not women with penises, right? So they have a different set of needs than women do, as I just stated, with the respect versus adoration that women and men seem to differ on. It's both seeking love, but it's just you're seeking it in a different way, right? It's like someone who, it's like two people who like cocktails, but it's like someone likes, a lemon drop and someone likes a margarita, right? So they both like to drink, but they just have different tastes. They have different um, choices when it comes to what they want to drink or what they have a taste for. So it's the same thing with men. Or feeling it or wanting to experience. So I'm just gonna say one more time that for men it's all about the respect, right? It's not, doing anything for him, it's not saying stuff to him. Like, it's like women, they're like, oh, I love you, I appreciate you and stuff. And a man may appreciate those words and everything like that, but it won't, but if you're disrespectful to his masculinity, it's just like it's falling on deaf ears. So we're going to learn about what masculine respect is starting now. So, so I have 5 rules about masculine respect. And I'm just gonna, they're in the book, right? So if you're reading today's section, or if you have already read today's section, you are familiar with, you will be, or are already familiar with these 5 things. But these things, as long as you are following it, following these 5 things, you are pretty much on the road to really respecting the masculine party and allowing him to flourish in his masculinity. And this is something about men. When you allow a man to thrive in his masculinity, and he feels like he can be his most masculine self, healthy masculine self around you, then he will be more inclined to make you happy and to do the things that will help you to flourish in your femininity and your womanhood, right? So, so these are 5 things. So if you are doing any of these things, you are absolutely not respecting the masculine party. You are not respecting the masculine in his energy, and you are taking away his inclination to try to make you happy, because you are actually in ways kind of feminizing him by not respecting him in these 5 ways, right? So, so number 1. So we're gonna go with number 1. So number 1 is giving up. These are the 5 rules of masculine respect. So these are the positive. But if you are doing any of these, then you're doing the negative version of this. So stop. So number 1 is giving up trying to control him, right? So, this should be a no-brainer, but I spoke about control yesterday and about how you're never really able to control people. You're always trying to control people, but you can never actually control anyone, ever. But giving up the ability of trying to control him, trying to get him to do things, get him to do things the way that you see fit, or the way you want things to go, right? So, a very common way of a woman trying to control a man is trying to direct the outcome, or direct the direction of the relationship or the situation or whatever it may be. So this looks like when you haven't heard from him, calling him and saying, hey, I haven't heard from you. Or telling him something like, you need to call me more, you need to contact me more, or you need to take me out on dates anymore, or, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna do this, you need to do that, like that type of stuff, like you need to take the trash out, you need to, you need to go wash the car and stuff like this. Is for more long-term relationships, but, telling him what he needs to do, that type of stuff. Or, yeah, so it's just little things like that, like telling him what to do, right? So I would say there's a better way to get a man to do something other than telling him to do it, right? So this is the number way that you're not respecting his masculinity, because the masculine energy is about doing. The masculine energy is about leadership. So if you're telling a leader to do something, then you're not respecting them as a leader, right? Because a leader is someone who has authority over others. And so let's think about people who are leaders. If someone, let's say, I don't know, like let's say a politician, right? So let's say the governor. So the governor of your state, he is a leader, and he's the leader of that state. He's the head official of that state, right? So someone off the street, or even someone in his party, would not tell him to do something. They would not say, hey, you need to sign this bill, or hey, you need to you need to attend this meeting or whatever. It would be more of a petition to him, like, hey, if you, like people sign petitions, they get him to try and sign the petition. Or in the instance of, When it's someone in his own cabin, they may make a suggestion on what he should do. And usually this is only done if someone asks, or if he asks them for advice, right? So this is the thing about being a leader. As a leader, it really is disrespectful to your leadership if someone doesn't respect your authority, because you're not respecting someone's authority if you're telling them what to do and they're over you, right? So in this case, it's not like men are over you or like they're better than you or something like that, but they're just natural born leaders. They just naturally take on that role. And if you want a masculine man, he's going to naturally be a leader. So when you tell him what to do, you're telling, hey, do this, do that, then you're taking away leadership from him. And in that time, he sees, okay, you don't respect me as the man. You don't respect me as a leader in a relationship. And there are other ways to get a man to do something, which I'm not sure if I will talk about that today, but I know that I have a section day committed to ways of getting a man to do what you want to do. Actually, yes, there is a day called Here's How to Get Him to Do What You Want. So there is another way to get a man to do what you want other than telling him to do it. Because a lot of times, even if he does do something after you've told him to do it, he will feel some type of way about it. He will probably do it reluctantly. He'll probably feel like, you know, I mean, I guess I'll do it, but I really don't appreciate the way, I don't appreciate this exchange that we just had. So he'll feel some type of way about it. And over a long, prolonged period of time, after this constant same exchange, if you telling him to do something, he's gonna get fed up. Everyone has their limit. So you'll end up pushing him away. So just remember that. Don't tell a man to do something, like do this, do that. Because that is the rule number one of disrespecting the masculine party, right? Um, yeah, another good one I like is even sometimes you say, I need you to do this, or I need you to do that. Like, I need you to go paint the garage. I need you to go wash the car. I need you to go pick up this. I need you to go pick up that. Like those type of things, controlling. Another way of controlling is like where you're trying to control him indirectly, but you're actually trying to control the outcome. So it's like you're trying to plan something with him. Maybe like you got invited to a wedding, you're trying to like, hint at him that he should come, or maybe you're trying to plan a vacation with him and he hasn't like made the move to like, he should be the one to plan it. Especially if you're your first time, he should be the one planning the vacation. So if you're like, it would be great to go out of town with him, and you're just like looking up um vacation spots and you have your ticket and all this other stuff, and you're like saying, oh hey, look, there's a good deal, and sending him Groupons and stuff like that, that's very controlling. You're trying to control the outcome. You're trying to direct a situation to go in a certain way, instead of allowing, like we talked about, allowing a man to move, to take the pace of a relationship at his pace. And if you're not okay with his pace, then that's why you date somebody else, or um, you mostly just date somebody else, or you find a way to be patient as long as he's moving it forward. I always say, as long as a man seems like he's moving a situation forward, even if he's not moving it as fast as you would like, I will be patient with him, right? So it looks like he's not, BSing around with you, and he actually does have plans of like moving things forward in a certain direction. Then just really in dating, in the modern dating era, the biggest mistake a lot of women make is that they don't have patience. They're too quick to jump to conclusions, too quick to jump down his throat, too quick to delete, block, all that type of stuff, you know. And you miss out on a lot of good potential mates because of your impatience. So definitely, and that's also why a lot of times women try to control men, is because they're impatient. They don't want to wait for the connection to grow on its own and organically, right? Okay, so let's get into number two. So, which is basically, I kind of already talked about it, but it's giving up trying to control the outcome in the situation, which is the same thing, which I just gave the example of the trip. Right. So usually, when a couple goes on their trip, it's like, okay, it's this time for us to bond, for us this time to have intimacy, and get to know each other and build a connection. And it's great to like have a different experience with each other, right? So there's a reason why you want to go on this trip. You want to have a certain experience with him. You want things to go in a certain way. So you do things to do that. You plan this trip. You're like, okay, I have my Groupon. I'm looking at dates. What day can you get off? All this other stuff. You have an agenda. Having an agenda, right? You have an agenda of what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to do. That right there is a form. That's breaking one of the 5 rules of masculine respect. Having an agenda. Trying to push for your agenda. Because usually agenda is differently than like I have certain things that I want, or I'm trying to get my needs met. Agendas really aren't about needs. Agenda is really about ego. Agenda is really like this thing says about trying to control an outcome and control a situation and get it to go in a certain direction, right? And you're trying to be manipulative and sneaky about it, right? So that is what people who have agenda are doing. So whenever you have an agenda, you're definitely trying to control the situation. And we all know when we have an agenda about things, right? Because you're like, um, you're pressed. You're very pressed for something to go in a certain direction, right? You're not flowing. You don't have that free, go with the flow energy. You're very pressed about things going in a certain direction, the way that you see them going, right? Um, So let me know if y'all understand in the comments, if y'all understand what I'm saying about the agenda thing, because I don't know if I'm explaining that very well. But even though I feel like we understand when we have an agenda about things, like we've all really wanted something and we've all tried to figure out ways to get it. That's really what an agenda is. It's like you're trying to figure out how to get something at all costs. And usually people who have agendas, they're kind of like doing it at the expense of someone else. So that's where the manipulation comes in. Okay, so then rule number 3 is if you are doing any of the deadly C's, so any of these, so um, coercing him, coercing, criticizing, condemning, counseling, like you should do this, you should get your life together and do this, cautioning, hey, I wouldn't do that, coaxing, hey, please, like with the trip, please, 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 can we go on this trip? Please, pretty, please. Like that type of stuff. It's a sweet way of being controlling. Especially, and it's another thing about masculine respect. If a man says no about something, whether you like it or not, accept the no and move on. Because if you don't accept his no, you are disrespecting the masculine energy. Because as a logical leader, a decision has been made. He made a decision. You don't have to like the no. You can have a problem with him saying no, but if he says no about something, like, for example, if you're like I said with the trip, if you're trying to go for a trip and he's like, no, I'm not going to do that, or I can't do that right now, or I need more time, or I can't get off those weeks. The last thing you want to do is with the coaxing example, like, oh, please figure it out. Please, can we go? Are you sure you can get those days off? Are you sure? Like all of that type of stuff. If he says no, just say, okay, and go on about your business. If you really want to go on that trip, go with your friends. Heck, if you have a roster, maybe another dude on the roster. But this is the thing, you need to lean back. So I'm not going to say go with another roster member because it would be the same thing. You're trying to get another man to go on a trip and you have an agenda, right? So he needs to be the one to suggest the trip and make the plans, not you. Especially if you're dating. Now, if you're married, this is different. But if you're dating someone, he needs to be moving things forward, right? So, if you were in a marriage, it's different. You can plan trips and do things. In a marriage, you can lean forward a lot more than you can when you're dating someone, right? Because that person is definitely committed to you. So you can do a lot of leaning forward behaviors that you cannot do when you're dating, or you should not do. I would say you can do whatever you want. So I'm not gonna say you can't do it, but you should not, right? Um. So yeah, so coaxing is a really big one because it's like that innocent thing, and we're like, how am I being controlling? Like, I'm just asking him pretty please. It's like that's the manipulation, that's the sneaky tactics. No, no, ma'am, don't do that. And that's probably one of the biggest ones. And that this is comes off honestly, coaxing comes off as nagging. It's one of the worst ones. It's one of the worst ones. It comes off as nagging, and men cannot stand a nagging woman, right? So just don't do it. If he says no, because usually coaxing happens because he said no. So you're trying to convince him after he already said no. So if a man says no, that's it. If it has something to do with, like, find some other way to do it. Like with the trip, go with a friend. You know, he like, I don't want to go to Jamaica. No. Okay, get a friend, go to Jamaica with them. The end of the story. You know what I'm saying? So last C is calculating, which is basically the agenda. You're trying to figure out how to get something. He already said no about the trip, and you're trying to figure out how you can get him on this trip. You know, well, maybe he hasn't seen the beautiful water. So maybe if I just tag him in a video on Facebook about the beautiful water in Jamaica, he will be more inclined to go. Right? You're excuse me. You're calculating. You have, once again, you have an agenda. You have an agenda. You're trying to um, you are trying to push for what you want. You know, you're just, like I said, this usually always happens after you said no. So that's a big part of masculine respect. Is if a man says no about something, you don't have to like it. You can have absolute problem with his no, but you must accept it, right? You must accept it. And maybe at a later time you might be able to revisit it depending on the situation. But a lot of times if it's no, it's just no, and you just figure out another way to get your needs met from some other source, right? This is in dating, so the rules are different as more in a committed relationship you are. Like if you're engaged to a man or if you're married to him, then the rules are a little bit different. Like I said, you can lean forward more in those situations. You can, kind of negotiate and do things like that when you're in a definite commitment, in which we know we're not in a real commitment until we have engagement. So if you are not at least engaged to a man, and you guys are not just engaged, because a lot of people are engaged girlfriends. So they're engaged for 5 years. I just call them girlfriends with a ring, right? So you're engaged for 5 years, but it's not moving forward any more than if you were just his girlfriend. You just a girlfriend with a ring. So not just engaged, but engaged and actively moving towards getting married, planning a wedding, a date is set. So until that point is reached, there's no real commitment there. So from that point onward, then you've already um, made that connection, and there's already the commitment moving forward. So you are able to move in a little differently than you would if you were just dating him. Because I also get questions like that. Even though I work explicitly with single women, but I do have some married women who ask me like, well, how does this apply now that I'm married or I'm engaged or whatever? So it is mostly different. I would say it's a little different. It's actually a lot different. Dating is a lot different than marriage or being engaged. It's a lot different. Um, yeah, a lot different. It doesn't even compare to the same. I mean, there's similarities as far as femininity, but the rules of dating do not apply in committed relationships such as engagements and marriage. So in those situations, you may blur the lines a little bit of the deadly C's, but when you're dating, the deadly C's are definitely a no. Stay away from them. Um, so that's number 3. And number 4, trying to change him. Oh my God, guys, this actually, I don't know why I don't have this as number 1. Because this is one of the biggest mistakes that women make. And I actually was talking to my friend earlier today about this. Is that a lot of women think that for some reason they ignore a man's pattern and think that some reason that their vagina is golden enough to be able to get him to change and be different for her than he has been for every other woman. Now, I will say that there is a one for most men where he will somehow, some way feel like, okay, this woman is the one, and I'm gonna do things a little differently than I've done in the past. But he will in no means become a completely different person, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he is something, he may, if he was like in his other situations, he was like a man whore or something like that, and this woman may inspire him maybe be a monogamous or something like that. That could happen, but it's also could not happen, right? Because if someone, it just depends on what's his reasons behind it, right? If that's just who he is, and that's just who he is, and it doesn't matter. Um, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on with that woman. That's just who he is, right? But there are things where it's like, you know, I always say that when it comes to dating a man, always look out for his patterns. Look out for his patterns. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand how women allow themselves to be like the third, fourth, fifth baby mama with the man, and then wonder why they a baby mama like the rest of his baby mamas. It don't make no sense. He has shown you a pattern. Why do you think that your vagina is golden enough for him to break his patterns? It's very hard for us as humans to break our patterns. Can we do it? Yes. We can absolutely be anything we want to be, but we have to want to be it. You know what I'm saying? So in that instance, if a man meets a woman who he feels like I need to change for this woman, and he is doing it all from himself, and he wants to change for her, then by all means he can change and be a completely different person. A lot of women say, well, I don't know, he treated me like dirt, and then the next woman he treats me like gold, right? And it's like the same man. But so with the other woman, he treated her better because she required something about her required him to. He felt like I need to step up and I need to change who I am, but he made a decision on his own, right? That woman did not change him. That woman, most likely, if she got him to change, she did not tell him like or do things to try and make him change who he is, or even come into the situation believing that I have enough power as a woman to change him. Um, he gonna be so like what they say, sprung off of me, like I'm gonna do some cartwheels and some tricks in the bedroom. He's gonna be so sprung off of me that he's not gonna treat me like the way he treated the rest of these women. And when you do that type of stuff, you're set up for failure because you already have the wrong attitude of you're disrespecting the masculine energy because you're not understanding that a man is who he is. We as humans are who we are unless we decide to be something else. And so we can absolutely change if we want. Like if you're overweight and you eat too much, or you're fat or whatever, that's who you are now. But if you decide differently, you decide, okay, I'm tired of being fat, I'm tired of being overweight, I want to be differently. And you start to eat right, you start to exercise. After a while, you will lose weight and you will be a different person. You'll be a smaller version of yourself. So that's the thing, but you have to make a decision. If someone else comes to you and try and be like, well, you need to lose weight, you too fat. And maybe for some people that type of stuff works. Maybe some people get shamed into changing or whatever. But for majority of people, you get defensive and you're like, well, if you got a problem with me, then that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Most people get defensive. Now, some people work with shame, some people don't. It just depends on how you're made. But some people just feel like, okay, well, that's your opinion. That's not how I feel about myself. I'm going to continue to be fat. I'm going to continue to be overweight because I don't see an issue with it. Or maybe I do see an issue with it, but I just don't want to change it. I don't feel like it. So, um, those instances, they're not going to change. They're going to stay big, So, if they ever decide like I'm tired of being overweight, I'm tired of like my clothes not fitting, I'm tired of not being able to do this, that, tired, all this stuff, make that change. So same thing with men. Like when it comes to men, they very much are who they are. And if they've shown you a pattern with men, this is very important. Men are very action oriented creatures. So if they show you a pattern of who they are, please believe it. Please believe the pattern. Please don't be one of these women who think that your vagina is golden enough to get a man to change his pattern. If he has 3 baby mamas, please believe you will be the 4th. You'll be the 4th if you continue to mess around with this man. You'll be the 4th. If he already has 4, you'll be the 5th. Pay attention to a pattern with men. If this man has been like the longest relationship I ever had was 2 months, Please don't think that you're going to get a 3-month relationship out of him. Please. Please. He just told you, my max is 2 months. We have to believe men when they say something, and we have to accept it. Don't try and change him. Either he meets your standards, he meets your boundaries, or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, you move on. You don't try and change him. You know what I'm saying? Especially in dating, you're not attached to this person. You're not committed. So this just means if someone doesn't meet your standards, you don't try and change them. It just means it's just a simple indication that they're not right for you. And there are 7 billion, 8 billion, how many people on this planet? There's somebody out there who will meet your requirements. So just keep it pushing, right? So the last thing you want to do, because he will grow to resent you. And, a lot of times he would withdraw and ghost in a lot of these situations. If a man feels like he can't be who he wants to be or whoever he is, and he feels like he can't, because in that instance, he feels like he can't make you happy. He will feel like, okay, she's disappointed with who I am, and this is who I am, and I can't make her happy, so there's no point. I'm not going to change who I am. This is who I am. So she got a problem with it, and she trying to change me, and I don't like that. I'm a man. I don't like that type of stuff. Nobody gonna change me. I'm a man. I'm a man, right? So, um, that's it. Either the man is who he is right now. Take him as he don't. And this is another mistake we made. This video ended up it's been longer than I wanted to be, but this is another mistake that we make as women, is that not only do we try and change a man or believe that we have the power to somehow change his patterns that he has shown us explicitly, but we also feel like that we also feel like this is just who he is right now. You look at the potential of this man. You don't accept the man for who he is right now today. You're looking at potential like, okay, well, he's not making that much money right now, but I see his potential. This man could be making some good money, He can be making some good money. I believe in him. I believe that he can make some I believe he could be making 6 figures in 6 years from now. I just hold it. I just pay all the bills until then. I just hold him down. That type of stuff is also disrespecting the masculine. Even if a man goes along with it. In a lot of instances, men go along with allowing a woman to see his potential, and she pay all the bills, and she hold him down while he's going through his little episodes of brokenness and brokenness. But when that man do get up, because she did see the potential, a lot of times women are right. There is a lot of potential in men. So when he do rise up, he does not stick around though, because you did not respect his masculinity. You emasculated him by seeing his potential instead of just seeing who he was. Because in a martyr type way, you were seeking control. You were thinking, if I build him up from the ground up, he will feel some type of indebtedness to me, right? You feel like, okay, I did all this, and this happens a lot of situations where women are, acting like men and helping men out and carrying them and carrying bills and taking care of these men who are broke, and then these men get on their feet and they leave them, or they cheat and then leave, right? And get them a woman who don't do nothing. She don't do nothing. She don't pay a bill. She don't cook. She don't clean. She don't do nothing. And you sit up here like, what's going on? Like, I paid all the bills, or I at least paid 50-50. I cooked, I cleaned, I was doing splits on the D. Like, I don't understand what's going on. And this is the thing. This is why you disrespected him. You disrespected his masculinity because you took on masculinity. You're doing all the things for a man that he should be doing for you. He should be taking care of you. Men are wired to take care of women, especially in a financial situations. So people say, oh, well, so hello, I have a comment. She said, "This is the truth." Yes. So this is, like, this is a thing. Like, we have to stop. We have to stop. You are taking on the masculine energy. And when you take on the masculine energy, you're automatically disrespecting him because you're taking it away from him. Because there can only be one masculine party in a relationship. So if you want to be masculine, then he can't be masculine. Y'all both can't be masculine. So when you take on the masculinity away from him, then you force him to be feminine. And a man who's truly masculine will only allow himself to be it if he even allows that. Because a truly masculine man will not even allow a woman to emasculate him. But if he does allow it, he must be in a hard up situation. Like, with a lot, like, pretty much the only time a man will allow himself on a regular basis to be emasculated by a woman is if he's broke and he don't have any other options. Like I said, in the instance, if she's taking care of him, she's holding him down. So he's like, okay, well, I need somewhere to stay. She paying all these bills, so you know what, I'm just gonna stick around. But as soon as he get himself together, he goes to a woman who allows him to be in his most masculine energy, right? So this is why women who are in these situations, they ask, well, I was doing all this stuff for this man and he left me for a woman who don't do nothing for him. And that's exactly why, because that's what masculine men like. They like women who allow them to do stuff for them and not the other way around. They want to take care of, a truly masculine man thrives on taking care of a woman. So he doesn't feel anything for you when you're taking care of him and when you're in the masculine energy. So that's why he will find a woman who don't pay no bills, who requires him to pay for dates, or she might not even require it, but she's open to it, and she's like, I'm not gonna take my purse out. He gonna pay for this date. He's like, okay, I get to feel like a man. Cool. I'll take care of you. I got you, girl. I'll take care of you. I'll give you a little pocket change and all this other stuff. And then his ex is just like, I don't understand what happened. Like, he never did none of that stuff for me. And this is why we need to go back to day one of polarity, right? The masculine and feminine energy. You were masculine and you forced him to be feminine. And the feminine energy is about receiving. So you did and gave all this stuff to him. And since you forced him to be in that feminine energy, he had to do nothing but receive it. But once he came up, he's like, I don't want to be in feminine energy anymore. I'm a truly masculine man. And this woman is not allowing me to thrive in my masculinity. And he may, feel like, okay, I appreciate everything you did for me, but I'm not able to really be the truly masculine man that I'm supposed to be. So in that instance, he's like, okay, let me go and find a woman who allows me to be in my masculine energy. And this is like you said. And so a lot of women will be able to relate to this, and they, will look back and say, okay, maybe I was in that situation where I was the one who held him down and he cheated on me, or he left me for a woman who don't do crap for him. Like, she don't do nothing. And I was doing literally everything. And now you can have a better understanding of why that happened, right? So this is all a part of number 4, which is trying to change him. Don't do it. Don't see the potential, and don't try and, accept the man for who he is right now. Either he is it right now or he's not. And also another form of changing him is just telling him that he needs to change. Like, I actually had a man tell me that this woman that he was talking to said that he needed to put on weight. He was a more thinner guy, and she said that she likes to date guys with like more muscle tone, like more muscly guys. So she told him that he needs to go start working out at the gym. So I asked him, how did that make him feel? And he said, I don't know, it makes me feel like a little like I'm not enough. He said, I won't say insecure, but it made me feel like I'm not enough. And he made me feel kind of like, well, she's not attracted to me or anything, so why is she talking to me? So this is the thing, she did not accept it for a year. So if she likes guys who have more muscle definition, then that's fine. She has that right. But this man doesn't have that. He's not physically what she wants. So instead of bruising a man's ego and trying to change who he is, she could have just made a decision, you know what? He's not physically my type, and I don't feel like I'm going to settle on physical attractiveness. That's very important to me. So, you can tell him we can be friends, or I'm not interested in this time, and just move on instead. That's better. Moving on is better than trying to change someone, right? If someone doesn't fit who you are, they're just not who you are, and that's okay. So she definitely turned him off and he lost interest because she told him that physically he's not her type. Even though she said like, oh, I'm worried about your health or something like that. When really, no, she just likes guys with she likes more muscly men. You know, that's what she likes. That's fine. But the way she went about it was completely wrong. So no trying to change him. That's this actually should be number one. And that's probably why I spent the most time on this one because it definitely should be number one. Trying to change him. If a man feel like he can't be who he is around the woman, then he will not be faithful or he will not stick around. He just won't. He just won't stick around. He just will not. It's just he just won't. He will, you know, you can it just um it's not gonna work for him because like I stated, and like I just gave you this example with this guy about the physical appearance. It's like as a man, men's ego is very much tied to who they are and certain aspects of their masculinity. And so if they feel like these certain aspects of their masculinity isn't enough for you, then he's just like, okay, she's not the one. Like I'm not gonna, he may stick around because of certain benefits he may be getting from you, like I said, where he's allowing himself to be emasculated by you because at this time he feels like he doesn't have any other options. Like if he's broke or, whatever, and you let him stay with you and stuff like that. Um, then, that may happen, but he'll never be like, okay, this is the woman I'm gonna, when I get right, when I get my money right, when I start making good money, you're not gonna be the one he stays with. You're not, so that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so number 5, give up the need for yes, which is also what I already talked about. With trying to control him in number 1, give up the need for a yes. So this is like so true. So like if a man says, like we already stated, if a man says no about something, like um you just allow it to be. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're like, hey, you should meet my parents, they're coming into town this weekend, and he's like, oh, I don't think I'm ready for that right now. Instead of trying to like convince him or being like, why not, like, oh my god, I love you and I want you to meet my parents, and oh, you don't love me if you don't want to meet my parents, and trying to guilt trip him, and remember the agenda stuff and the manipulation tactics and all that other stuff. Just say, oh, maybe you're right, okay, cool, and just go away and leave it alone. And that's it. That is respect to the masculine party. That is, you don't try and get an explanation from me. You don't ask them, why? Why you don't want to meet my parents? What is your problem? Like, why don't you want to meet my parents? You don't love me? You don't love me? Or this relationship is a joke, huh? You don't want to meet my parents, huh? Why? I need to know why you don't meet my parents. Are you seeing someone else? Like, all that type of stuff, just no. Just don't do it. Just say, okay, and keep it pushing. You don't want to meet my parents? Okay, cool. All right, fine. You missing out because my parents are awesome. That's on you. Don't say that, but you can think it like, okay, fine, and just keep going. So that we differently, yes, Janet. She said the ego is everything. Very masculine men have big egos from my experience, and they do. And masculinity is a man's masculinity is very much tied to his ego. You know what I'm saying? His ego is tied to his masculinity. They go hand in hand. So it's like when you're doing something and you're affecting a man's ego. You're questioning his masculinity, and where you're questioning his masculinity, you're affecting his ego. It's like a circle. It goes back and forth. So to have the best results with men is you want to stay away from making them get in defense mode by attacking their ego directly or attacking their masculinity. And like I said, with masculine men, they're leaders. So, someone who's a leader, like, if a teacher or a principal or something says you have detention, there's no arguing with the person like, why do I have detention? Why do I have detention? No, I'll be better. I'll do this. I'll do this. No, it's like, okay, I have detention. They said it. It's fact. It's law. I have detention. Okay. So it's the same thing. Like if a man, they have this innate leadership. Like masculinity has innate leadership within it. So it's like if he says something about something, he says, no, I don't want to do something, or no, this is not something I want to do, or no, or whatever. then you just have to respect that authoritative position that he put himself in, you know, and say, okay. Now, there's different strategies and tactics if you were engaged or married to him that you can get a man to say yes or maybe continue to talk about it, right? But if you're dating, then if a man says no about something, then, you know, it's just whatever, you know, because you don't have that, like, where anything he says yes or no about, it doesn't really affect you both in the long term, right? Because you're not in a committed arrangement where you guys are becoming one entity, right? So it's like you're still two individuals. So if a man says no, he don't want to do something, or he say no about it, you have other ways to get your needs met outside of him, right? Because you're single, right? And we're single to married. So, but when you're engaged or married to somebody, then what you do affects him and what he does affects you because you're one person or you're one entity, I'll say. So in those instances, it's not the smartest thing if a man says no about something. It is very detrimental to you that you just accept it as law and keep it pushing. But if you're dating someone, definitely if they say no, if a man says no and you're just dating him, it's law for him and it's law for you, and you just keep it pushing and you figure out some other way to get your needs met. You're dating other men, or you figure out some way to get it with a girlfriend or something like that, or get it done by yourself. Whatever. It just depends on the circumstance. Each circumstance is unique. Okay, so that's it for today. And this video ended up being so long, y'all. But yeah, so that's it for today. So make sure that you read the section, go over the questions, let's talk about it in the comments. If you like this video, then subscribe to my channel. And if you want more information or great topics like this, then consider joining my Facebook group. The link will be in the description. Also, if you are intrigued by what I'm getting all this information from, it is a book that I wrote, so you can get the book. In the link will be in the description as well. So this is day 7. So I will see you on day 8 tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, ladies. Bye bye.